Hey, we're gonna do a breakdown of Tag's song "Engine On," produced by us, QST, Stephen Q, Steel Rising, and Tag.
Yo, let's do it.
So basically what I did for the track Engine On, started out with a little simple melody. So I took that melody, I took that MIDI, copied it, I put it on another sound. Alright, then I added a flute. Alright, then this is where the fun started. So after that, I grossed it all. I put gross beat on all of it. Alright, and then after that, I put another gross beat on everything. And from there, I sent it to Steve, and that's when Steve did his thing to it.
Once I heard that, I was like, hey, bounce that out and send it over to me. Let me put my sauce on it.
You know what was interesting too is whenever he played that sound and you saying we knew it was a good track, I'd actually started writing the hook right then and there too.
Yeah, so while
Yeah.
we were making the beat, he was in the back already starting to jot some ideas and starting to write the song, come up with the hook.
Yeah, that's when you know you got something good.
So one of the first things I did before I even did the drums was I took the pad sound that he had sent me, and then on the second half of the hook, I pitched it up an octave and tucked it underneath the main sound. Yeah, so that just gives it cool texture, cool vibe, and then all the music together.
And then obviously you did something with the 808s and stuff.
This beat is relatively a simple beat. It's more about the vocal and the vocal melody being up front. When you have a simple track, you still want to keep it interesting by having little change up. So what I did was change up the 808 and not have a 2 or 4 bar pattern. This is 8 or 16 bar pattern. If you listen to the drums, you'll hear it change up. So you hear like on the second half of the hook, you'll hear some other 808 going up an octave, like those doo-doo, those. So yeah, I'll just have little stuff like that. You want to have stuff that's not predictable. You don't want just to have a regular loop and then just the listener just gets bored. You want to have some things jumping out, some different do, some 808 slides, and you know, you don't want to overdo it, but you still want to just keep it interesting so the listener doesn't get bored.
Yeah, unpredictable.
I've already talked about this in my sidechaining tutorial, but yeah, sometimes I'll use sidechaining, sometimes I don't. For this track, I happen to think that sidechaining sounded really good, so I decided to sidechain the kick to the 808s as well as the music. So you'll hear a little bit of a pumping effect on the music as well as the 808s.
Side chain, get it?
And I'm using the Waves H comp to do the side chaining on the 808s as well as the music. Oh, and one other thing with the 808. So I have the main 808 and I also have the distorted 808 on a separate track just so I can have more control over the blend. And then also you can hear on that second half of the hook too, I also added some extra hi-hats. Yeah, again, mostly keeping it simple, but keeping it interesting. Also added these other voices on the second half of the hook to keep the listener engaged. And then I also added an octave up of the vocal on the second time it plays.
God, it sounds like a baby.
It does. And that's really like the bulk of the production. Arrangement wise, we have some drops here and there. We have this part with the clap build up for the pre-hook. Yeah, some parts like in the second verse we took the kick out, took the 808 out. Yeah, mostly it's just about arranging the vocals. The great production really comes from arrangement. Arrangement is key, you know? You don't have to have the best beat in the world, but if you have a great arrangement, that's all that matters.
Yeah, so the concept behind Engine On was really just simple, like Stephen Q. Beast was saying. It came to us. So what happened was they were making the beat, and before the beat was even finished, actually the beginning stages, I already started writing the hook. I already knew like, ooh, I hear something, following the melody. And usually when I'm writing, that's a good sign because I usually hop behind the mic, freestyle melodies, even freestyle the song sometimes. But this one, it was coming to me so good and so fast, I was like, I gotta write this down. So I knew it was something special right at the beginning. Just sitting there, damn, it's coming to me. I got to write this before the beat's even done, before we can hop in the booth. Because on the production side, we all play a role, so I'm in there with them as well, trying to figure out the beat, how it's going to sound, where the hook's going to be, where the verse is going to be. Because Stephen Q. Beats was saying, the arrangement is one of the most important parts of the song. And that's how we came up with Engine On. So once we're in the booth now, we got the beat done. Well, done for recording, we started laying down the vocals. And a lot of what people don't know is the producers, they're not just making the beat, they play the role as far as creating the song and making it happen too. So while I'm working on the hook, Still Rising and Q Beats is sitting there telling me, hey, put this line there, change this line, maybe you should say it this way, say it that way, because they know how the hook should sound on the beat. And you gotta trust your producers. A lot of songwriters, a lot of artists don't trust the producers. They got these big egos thinking they're the dictator and just how it goes. No, you have to listen to your producers, and that's why we make records sound good. So playing with the hook and listening to the producers is why the hook came out that way. As far as writing the lyrics, I was thinking simple, and usually when I write my songs, once I have the hook, I know what I'm talking about. And so I'm thinking about what clever ways I could create these lines to bring it back to the hook. And that's basically what I did. As I write my verses too, I actually add more rhymes in there as we go, hear it back, see if it makes sense. Another important part about the hook was the part turn the engine on and go. I've been picking up some steam when I'm moving through the scenes. Anyways, the first line, turn the engine on and go. What's happening is we didn't plan for this, but a lot of people started doing reels behind Engine On, and the first thing they use is turn the engine on and go, and then the car turns on, they're racing a boat, a motorcycle, whatever. But whenever we were focusing on that part of the hook, we wanted to make sure go hits because we wanted to be impactful. This was not planned, but we heard it in the song because when you're creating a song, you just like it. You're just in love with the song. We're like, man, this part needs to stand out. When you hear turn the engine on and go, it just sounds so good in the studio. And that's how that came to be.